Merry Christmas!
Hi, this is Chris from Leicester Till I Die. Thank you for watching and listening. Have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
This is your host, Chris.
No! God, please, no! No!
I know, I'm sorry, but he's cheap and available.
How rude!
Good evening, everybody. It's a very good evening from me.
It's a very good evening from him.
Thank you. I wasn't sure whether you were going to get that or not. Welcome along, Doug. I hope you had well, apart from the football for us, I hope you had a very good Christmas.
I had a lovely Christmas, Chris, and same to you and your family. And yeah, it's quite weird being on sort of opposite sides this week, considering of all the watch-alongs and all the World Cup previews we did together. This feels a little bit surreal.
It does. It does. We'll hate each other for a couple of days, and then we'll be back to being friends again afterwards. I'm very good at that. And like I said before, I've upset a few Newcastle fans this week. Might as well go for Liverpool now. Did Santa empty a sack for you and fill your stockings?
Yeah, I actually got. Obviously, you can see the sort of the white headset. I actually got a red and black one. So I'll be using that one tomorrow. I'll be using the new headset I got as well. Yeah. I was spoilt, as they say, by the in-laws, by my parents, by Rebecca, a lot of friends. It was a really, really lovely Christmas, and obviously our first one is obviously Mr. and Mrs. as well. It was very, very special.
Yeah, well, I must admit, I got a very strange present off a guy that just lives on the corner. He's a farmer up in sort of central Dorset, and he popped round with his present, and I said, "What is it?" He went, "Oh, it's a calculator."
It started already, folks.
Oh yes, it has. There's only one way to go. But let's bring the chats in. Can you see the chat as well at your side?
Yep, I've got my iPad here, so I can basically read out comments as well.
Brilliant, that's great. Well, BLE is in. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Nicola.
And as Alan says, yeah, R.I.P. Pele. We were just talking about that, and I'm of a certain age, and funny enough, when I did my show earlier, there was a couple around my sort of age, being honest, a bit older than me, and they were all saying, for us, Pele was like the first global superstar that we knew.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't fortunate enough to obviously watch him, but actually, when you watch sort of clips of him on YouTube, he was the greatest of all time. Not many people won 3 World Cups, and there's not many people that's obviously scored like 1,000 goals like he did. But he was a wonderful football man, and he was a wonderful person with words as well. And I just think that the tribute from his family tonight just says about everything what Pele was. He was a loving football man. He will be sadly missed. Unfortunately, though, he has not been well for a while. I think it was September 2021. I think he got his colon cancer, and unfortunately, he's just sort of deteriorated over the last couple of weeks. And you obviously get the news that his family were about to say goodbye to him, and I think you got the message there that probably that was going to be within days, probably weeks or months. Very, very sad, but he has left a complete football legacy on everybody, and he will be sorely, sorely missed by everybody.
It is. And I said before, for me, that is a sad sight of football that we don't no longer see. Not the fact that we've got two giants of the game that both sort of went out to cancer, but and neither are with us now. But that you've got two, and we were world champions when that came round. Brazil hadn't had a very good 66 World Cup, but you've got probably the best striker in the world against the best defender in the world. And yet Brazil went on to win 1-0. Everybody says that really should have been the final. But the fact that at the end of the game, no matter what the result, and okay, it happened to be Brazil, that they could go up to each other and show that respect and appreciation to each other.
Yeah, 100%. Was that the game where Gordon Banks made an absolute worldie save against Pele?
It was indeed, yes.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, God rest his soul as well. I was very lucky to meet Gordon Banks a couple of. It was a wee while ago now, but it was like one of these sort of football convention things at Milton Keynes. I managed to actually meet Gordon Banks, and that is one photo I will always treasure. Was that photo? Because you know that you've met a World Cup winning goalkeeper in Gordon Banks. You've also met a really nice guy. Unfortunately, I kind of sort of met him when he was sort of coming to the end of his life as well. It's just those. It's just some. I've been very, very lucky to meet a lot of people, and I just think when you have pictures with such as Gordon Banks, it just sends you a completely different message that those are the photos you treasure.
Yes, I've actually got, well, it's not a signed picture of him, but it's an authenticated signature with his picture above on the wall. One of my moments that I was pleased to meet, again, another true gentleman who literally, when you go along to these meet and greets, quite often they are just shake your hand, take the photo, move on. And that's it. Two that sort of weren't like that. One, believe it or not, was Paul Gascoigne, but the other one was Jeff Hurst. Another true, and again from that same era, another true gentleman who had the time to spend to stop and talk to you. But unfortunately, we're in a different era now, aren't we? But
and I'll be honest with you, that is another photo I will treasure. It feels weird for a Scotsman saying that you got a picture with two World Cup winning players, and Sir Martin Peters and Sir Jeff Hurst. But again, that's a picture I'll treasure for a long, long time. And actually, in that convention, you had Martin Peters, you had Sir Jeff Hurst, you obviously had Gordon Banks as well. I also met Mark Selby that day, so that was a little bit surreal as well.
Yes, there's a gentleman who lives opposite me, John. He lives on his own, and he's not particularly into sport, but he was hoping he'd put together a collection of all the signatures from the 66 World Cup. And he was looking to sell it, and I'd mentioned it a few times on my shows. I thought, could I afford that? Could I really get? And it was 500 quid, and I just couldn't. But Aldo is in. He says, "Good evening, Doug. Hope you and your better half had a great Christmas. Also, love the Christmas themed intro music. Thank you. That bit was me. I'm so tempted as to whether to keep it because I absolutely love it. Aaron, see, what did he pass? Oh, I think they're talking amongst themselves. Nicola, hi, Chris and Douglas. Hello to yourself, sir.
Hello.
Geordie is in. Good evening, Geordie. How are you? I love the fact that John was on earlier doing a Newcastle show, but you came into my Leicester Stat show. I love you, Geordie. I love you to bits. And Aldo says evening to you, Aldo. Of course, these chats are coming up on both myself and Doug's channel. Big up, Doug, mate. Hope you're well. Let's just catch up on these. Everybody's saying hello to everybody else. We're going to talk about Gapco in a minute, to be honest with you. Marcus is back. Good evening, Marcus. Terry, the refs spun the coin, Chris. You kicking left to right on the screen. You don't want me representing Leicester, I tell you. Ant is in. I'm going for a good piss up tomorrow because the game is going to be painful. I am going to be watching it from behind the sofa, I'll tell you. RIP. I have actually already got, I should point this out, I have got, in case Liverpool score, but I have got the actual graphic ready for when Liverpool score. So just get ready. I don't think I'll be using it, but RIP Pele. Everybody's saying that. Egyptian King is in.
Hello, Egyptian King.
David says, good evening, David. Looking forward to finding out from Doug how we can beat Liverpool tomorrow. Weakness maybe Alexander-Arnold defensively, and without Diaz on Jotto, left wing might be a slight weakness. Got a couple of graphics to show you. Just Hannah is in.
Hello, Hannah.
I guess that's Hannah.
Yep.
Reese is in and says, RIP, absolute legend indeed. Hayden is in. Chris Welsh is in. Good evening, lads. Good evening, Chris.
Hello,
Hope
Chris.
You got over your love moment the other day. Hope it worked all out for you. RIP Pele, as we've said. Luca is in. Hello. Is that graphic for Brendan?
Yeah.
Oh, get back in your cut, Ant. Look, I've got to say, and I actually read this out yesterday because I was, you know me, I can't multitask. I struggle to do one job. And I should say, by the way, thank you to everybody that's watching. Doug, your channel, give it a snap. Well, no, let me put my teeth in. Give details of your channel.
Yeah, it's the Dogger Football channel on YouTube. I'm also on Twitter at Enord_992, and I'm also on Instagram at Douglas.Horn.
Indeed, and I'm on Leicester Till I Die TV on absolutely everything. So I'm easy to find. Even if you just want to hug, I'm here for you. Glasgow Red says, love the top, Doug.
Yep, thanks, John. It's probably our lucky kit. It's probably our lucky kit this season. We seem to be winning more games in it than that stupid, whatever you want to call it, TV, like pixelated. Oh, that honestly, that away top is absolutely horrific.
I must admit, I thought you were wearing that for a dare tonight, but
no.
Shane says good evening. I know. RIP again, but let me bring this one in. I did mistakenly read. I didn't completely read what it was, and I read his name out. Oh, Leicester after him, and that was about about an hour or so after you'd done your show saying you'd got him. But 18 year, he's going to get number 18 apparently. Cody Gakpo, 23 years old, left winger, PS3 Eindhoven. You have signed him from 106 first team appearances, 36 goals. He's played at literally every level of international football for Holland. And for the first team, he's made 38 appearances and 17 goals. But the fact that I've missed off there, which must please you more than anything, is that you stole him under the nose of Man United.
Yeah. I think that's for the fourth consecutive time I think we've done it. We've done it obviously for Darwin Núñez, Thiago. There was another one as well. Fabinho was another one, and obviously Cody Gakpo. I'm delighted. I'm absolutely delighted. He is a very exciting signing. We've obviously seen from the World Cup what he could do. And I think that we now have a player who can play on the left-hand side. I think it's been one of our problematic positions this season, considering that when Luis Diaz is injured and obviously Diogo Jota is injured, we've had to obviously rely on Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. not quite up to it at the moment. And then obviously you've got Fabio Carvalho, who's had to come in as well. So I think to have a very good player in Cody Gakpo, I think he's going to be. I think he'll be a very, very good player and a very good signing. But obviously we have to be patient with him. But the last Dutchman to obviously wear number 18 was Dirk Kuyt. So he didn't turn out too badly either. But no, it's a very exciting signing, and it's always nice to get one over the Manx again.
Yes, I'm sure that means more than anything. Ant's maybe not overly impressed, just a shit Damari Gray. You're a little bit of jealousy there, possibly, Ant? I don't know. And Hannah says she's looking forward to seeing him play. Yeah, I mean, an exciting prospect. I mean, thankfully, I don't know whether he would have played tomorrow night. It might have been too soon for him anyway, but he's not coming in until January. So at least we've got that to be thankful for. Talk us through, because you played the other day. Who was it? Villa you played?
Aston Villa. Yeah.
Good performance, I'm presuming, because you came away with the points.
Yeah, it was a much better performance than the Manchester City game. I think the Manchester City game was a kind of a... It was described as a sort of a friendly sort of kind of game. I mean, there's never a friendly between Manchester City and Liverpool game, but it was played at a pace of the friendly. It was played at a sort of a pace of a friendly. But Aston Villa, we got the early goal after 5 minutes, and obviously got that second goal, and went 2-0 up pretty early on as well. I think we played really well. Villa were missing their first choice goalkeeper. Let's just be honest. He did. I think if had Martinez probably played, I think maybe the scoreline would have been a little bit different. But actually, I was very pleased with our performance. It's always a tricky place to go to, Villa Park, and I was actually one of those that actually said, well, 3-1, I would obviously take a win against an Unai Emery side. We had only actually ever beaten an Unai Emery side away from home once, and that was actually last season against Villarreal by 3-2. So this one a lot more comfortable. And it's actually nice to see Mr. Stefan Basic on the score sheet as well. Only 18 years old. I think he's easy for me to say. So he's our third youngest scorer in the Premier League history. Wow.
I mean, I don't know if you saw much of the Leicester-Newcastle match or even the fallout from it. You've got to be looking at that and thinking, rubbing your hands. I mean, this has got to be, you would be thinking 3 easy points for you.
Well, I mean, your form before the World Cup, forget obviously about the 7 or 8 straight defeats in a row where you were basically bottom of the table. You actually ever put on a very, very good run before the World Cup came, and I think as well, you look at the teams you actually beat on the way there. There's some very, very good teams you beat on the way there. Yes, Jamie Vardy does love scoring against us. I know he does.
He doesn't love scoring against. He's got 1 goal this season, so
yeah, that is the problem. But no, actually, the Newcastle result was a bit of a surprising one for me. I actually thought you might have got them on a good day, but look, I think defensively, the worst possible start is to concede a penalty after, 60 seconds into the game, and then obviously Chris Wood scores a penalty. I mean, people are saying that the second goal, I mean, it is very good build-up play, but I think you allow Almiron way too much space to sort of trickle in to get that ball, and then the third goal is absolutely schoolboy defending.
I mean, that third goal, we sort of sorted out defending, I thought, from corners with our new set-piece coach. I mean, the first goal, Wout Faes, our new centre-back, who's had brilliant start, but he had an awful, mind you, and everybody had an awful game. But, to me, he was sort of for the first goal, he played a really bad ball out, I think it was Sumare, who he could see had 2 players coming down on him, and yet he still passed the ball to him. Just boot the bloody thing clear, which is what he's usually good at doing. And then it left Amati in trouble, and he obviously committed the foul. The second one, not just phase, but do you remember the Maradona goal, the second one against England in the World Cup?
Yeah.
It was like that. Almiron just went through and nobody would actually stick a tackle in on him. And he just went through and went, thank you very much. And at that point, it was game over, And but, I mean, if you look at that then, the table, I mean, you're sixth, which I've got to be totally honest with you, you're probably disappointed with, if truth be known.
Yeah, it has been a very up and start season, I would have to say. Up and down season, I would have to say. When you think we can get like a good win against Manchester City, we then go and lose to Nottingham Forest. It's been that kind of, obviously, if Luke's in the chat, they've been going on about that.
He was in earlier and he mentioned that you were beatable.
Yeah. But I've got to say, I think our Champions League form has been much better. There he is. Hello, Luke.
Talk of the devil.
Hello, Luke. I think we have been very up and down. I think I'm not putting it as an excuse or anything like that, but we have had 3 or 4 very, very good seasons. Hello, Jade. Yeah, I'll get to that. I think this season alone has been a season where we didn't start very well. We did not start very well. 2-2 against Fulham, then 1-1 against Palace, and then we lost to Manchester United. Now that those first 3 games is not very, very good. But then we sort of picked up a little bit. And again, I think the World Cup came at the wrong time for us, because I think we were actually in very, very good form going into the World Cup. We are capable of putting a run together. We are very, very capable of doing that. We saw last season that we lost to you guys on the 29th of December, and then we put up a very, very good run and put City very, very close again. But we can't be doing that this season. We've dropped too many points, and the thing is as well, I think it was Sir Alex Ferguson once said, you should only be able to drop 5 points a season, and I think we've dropped something like 15 or 16 points this season. It's not good enough. It is not good enough, and to be 6th is, I think. If you have to say that we deserve to be there, yes, we do, because we have been very, very inconsistent. But as I said, Liverpool are one of those teams that could potentially go on a run. It's whether or not we do it.
Yeah, and I mean for Leicester, exactly the same. We had a horrendous start.
Yeah.
And if you look there, I mean, we've only actually scored 6 goals less than you. We don't seem to have, although it's not, Maddison has been our top scorer, who's now obviously out, and we'll talk about that later as well. But it's we've conceded so many, against sort of, not Villa, Brighton, Arsenal, and Spurs. We conceded about 14 goals. It was all of them. But when you look at that, and then you look at the form. We are actually above you on the form table. We both only lost 2 in the last 5. We're ahead of you, obviously, on goal difference. But again, the World Cup came at a bad time for us. And if you're going to come back, and we've got Newcastle, who, third, they were in second after they beat us. We've got yourselves away. 2 very difficult games to come back from when you've had the disruption of the World Cup. And you've got, like I say, a James Maddison who I don't understand what's going on with him. I've got to be honest with you. He left us. He had that injury in the West Ham game. He was cleared to go to the World Cup. England then cleared him to go to the World Cup. Obviously, they had the final say. He was then injured for the first 2 games.
Yeah,
in fairness, wasn't picked for the third, which I totally understand, because he wouldn't have been, match fit. And then the next 2 games, you've now got to look and go. I mean, I know he was on the squad, on the subs bench, what have you, but was he still carrying this niggle? And now he then had a week off. He's then come back. I'm sure a lot of Newcastle fans were going like, well, he's not playing, he's coming to us and all that. But I just don't know what is up with him. And we have having so many injuries over. We never had these injuries before Brendan, and that's the worrying thing. When you had Brendan, was there a lot of injuries with the Liverpool squad?
Yes, to a degree there was. Brendan Rodgers strikes me as a manager who is only a sort of a 2-3 season manager. When his first season wasn't great. We finished 8th. I think it was 8th or 7th in our first season. Second season, obviously, that 13-14 season was very, very good. Almost won the league. And then he sells Luis Suarez, and then he brings all these players in. Like I could probably name a few: Lazar Markovic, Dejan Lovren, Nathaniel Klein, Ricky Lambert. Like, you replace Luis Suarez with Ricky Lambert. Like, why? Like that's what's really bad about Brendan when he was at Liverpool. But there was a time where we actually had to play Steven Gerrard up front because we had a striker crisis. So yes, we are used to having injuries with Brendan. So I imagine how you're feeling as well.
Yeah, and just, we've got this fantastic training ground, and, we just seem to be getting more injuries, and so many that aren't match related, if you like. I just wonder what's going. Is it too high intensity? It could end up costing us, to be honest with you. But look, I mean, this is the history, and again, the history would tend to say it doesn't make good reading for Leicester. 32 times we played each other in the Premier League. 17 wins for you, 10 of which have been at home, 9 for us, only 3 of them away, 6 draws. I mean, when we come to predictions later, I've had to back my own team, but that's my heart. My head's saying, oh, God, if we turn up like we did against Newcastle, when we were awful, I think, we still have, the turkey in us. So we played like bloody turkeys, I'll tell you. It could be embarrassing.
Yeah, I think the fact that we've beaten Aston Villa away from home and looked very, very good, I think confidence will be high. I think to have Newcastle and obviously Liverpool before obviously the new year, you've been very unlucky in that part. But actually, Liverpool against Leicester in the Christmas period is quite often because I think that's now 3 out of the last 4 seasons we've actually played you at Christmas.
Yes.
Obviously us at your place, and obviously you come to Anfield as well. So it's not unusual for us to be playing at Christmas.
No. It's as regular as, like you say, having turkey, and they get stuffed as well. But I mean, last year, we should have knocked you out the Carabao Cup. We let it slip.
Yep.
And, it went to penalties, and fair play to you, won that. You then came to Leicester, and it was backs against the wall, but we won that 1-0. And you see, this is what gets me with Rodgers, is that after that game, there was pictures of him with Hamza Chowdhury, who was playing an emergency centre-back.
Yeah.
And he's he's behind him, pointing at him and blowing smoke up his arse. And then we never saw him again. And that was right. And that's what I don't get with Rodgers. Soyuncu can't get a game for Leicester, and yet apparently he's good enough to go to Atletico Madrid, who are sort of regular Champions League quarter-finalists. Although the rumours are we're now supposed to be trying to offer him a new contract because we're in such a shit position. Is Rodgers on borrowed time? I thought he might have gone last year. I then thought he might have gone before the World Cup, but he saved himself. It's just, I don't know. I think he'll have the season, but I think it depends how we do this season. And Nate, just so you know, Chowdhury's injured. So I'm not sure if he's back at Leicester, but he is definitely injured. And talking about recent games, I normally only show last season's, but forgive me for adding an extra game on here because we did actually win the one before that. So I just wanted to put that up.
Yeah.
But these are the Premier League games, of course. You beat us 2-0 in February, quite easily, if I remember.
Yeah, that was one of those games where you guys actually started well, but we kind of got into our sort of stride, and it was pretty comfortable in the end. Again, I think it was poor defending, if I seem to remember as well, for that game. So look, it's one of those things as well. But usually they're very, very close games, and I would probably expect a closer encounter tomorrow as well.
Yeah. Hopefully, hopefully we leave. I don't mind losing obviously I don't like losing, but if we can at least put up a fight, I think. I spoke to you earlier. Oh, let's just have a look. Just going into this game, what our form is like.
Yeah.
Let me just bring that one up. I'm only to make me feel better because it has got your Leeds and Nottingham Forest results up there. There you go, Luke. Just for you, mate. That's your Christmas present. But that is, you beat Spurs and yet you lost to Leeds and Forest. And I think it was Forest or Leeds that we did a watch along for.
Yeah, we did both actually. We did both.
Yeah, we did both. Was it? And I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I mean that from the nicest possible way for Liverpool because, if Leicester had lost those, you could kind of say, well, that's Leicester. But I just didn't recognise that Liverpool team that played those two games.
No, definitely not. Those were some of the hardest watches of those games. We just didn't turn up. We have a habit of basically going up to games and just thinking that we could basically just come away with the result and we just don't turn up. We have a habit of doing that. And the Forest, the Leeds games are prime examples of that. And fair play to Leeds. They played really well that night and they deserved to win. Forest were fantastic against us at the City ground, deserved to win. So if you do catch us on a bad day, then usually it ends up in a draw or a loss.
Do you think, and I'm holding on to this, a bit like a brass monkey holds on to his privates when it's cold weather, the fact that you are beatable depending which Liverpool turn up? Yeah,
definitely. I think defensively we're not the best. I think people would probably work that out. Midfield changes like a baby's nappy. Like it changes constantly. Forward line. It's one of Nunes. Salah's a shoe-in at right wing. Let me just say that he is a shoe-in at right wing. And then it's a case of is it Firmino, is it Nunes up front, and then usually it'd be Luis Diaz or Diogo Jota. Now we haven't had those players for a while now. Luis Diaz, I think, is out till mid-February. I think Jota is out till mid-February as well. So not having them has been a bit of a blow recently. Firmino, there has been a few wee murmurs that he could potentially make the bench tomorrow. There is a few wee murmurs. Curtis Jones, he hasn't been seen for a while, and Konate, I think, is back tomorrow as well. I think the only real sort of injuries that we have are obviously the top three, Arthur, Luis Diaz, and Diogo Jota.
Yeah. When you look at our injury side, James and this is what worries me, is that when players come back, they get injured, almost, are we bringing them back too soon? What's happening? James Justin is out and it'll be a few months, I think, till we see him. Not sure when we're going to see Pierre, if ever again, to be honest with you. He's turning into a bit of a sick note. Ryan Bertrand, I hope we just don't ever see him again. But Pratt went down against Newcastle. Maddison, we know. And Johnny Evans, I mean, he's 35.
Yeah.
And he, a bit like Vardy, yes, he's experienced, but 35, how long can he carry on? And the problem with him for me is he is becoming a bit of a sick note, and when he gets in, it's not going to be like, say, a Dennis Pratt who's younger, can get, gets fitter and they get better, I'm obviously in my 60s and I cut myself when it takes a month to sort of heal up, As you get older, these things do take longer. And we're talking about offering him a new contract, for God's sake. That's how desperate we are getting. I hope Milner doesn't play because he always plays well against us. But he seems to be, I mean, he'll still be going when he's 70, won't he?
James Milner, that ever reliable player. Yeah, I mean, he's just a phenomenal machine. He really, really is. 37 years of age, he still seems to be fit as a fiddle. As well, I think he is doubtful for tomorrow. But no, he does have a good goal scoring record against Leicester. I have noticed that. I think he scored in one of the games, I think at Anfield. I think that was a 2-1 win. And then I think he scored in the 4-0 win in the sort of the title winning season. Actually, I do actually remember the one at the King Power because Mo Salah had just been substituted, and James Milner basically had gone on. Basically, with about first touch of the ball was to put the ball in the back of the net. So
yeah,
he is a very, very good player. But the thing is, as well, he is getting on a little bit. And if we're being honest, we can't really rely on James Milner. Like, James Milner should be played in games of a League Cup, an FA Cup, maybe a sort of a Champions League sort of like game that you're already through in that those kind of games anyway. But I have to say that was one that yeah, David, you've hit the nail on the head there. Brendan Rodgers did actually sign James Milner for Liverpool.
Yeah, he does, as I say, like a goal against us. So, no disrespect if he is injured, good. But I want to bring this up because this. Oops, he says. Let me just do it because this just shows when you score with obviously in the green and concede when it's in the red. Against us for the same. Now we always seem to have bad starts to the game. Bad ends to the game, usually on the 60th minute, which is funny because that's when we make most of our substitutions, and I'm sure there's something in there that we could talk about. But you're pretty sort of, even with your you seem to concede either in the first 15 minutes or just before half time.
Yeah. Very, very annoying. And we have a habit of conceding almost straight immediately after half time as well. It's been a very, very funny season, and obviously with you guys having big defensive mistakes as well. Like we've had big defensive mistakes as well. But that graphic there, the fact that we do seem to score a lot of goals between the 75th and 90th minute. And that's what kind of gets me a little bit of a boost, basically. And I have noticed as well, you do seem to concede more goals in the 60th, 75th minute as well.
Let me just show you this because this will actually show it up a bit more. This is just Leicester, by the way. So that's when we score our goals. The majority is in the first 10 minutes. But look at when we concede 50%. 50% of the goals we concede are from the 61st minute onwards. Now,
that's worrying.
When you got what is more worrying is that Brendan makes 90% of his substitutions on the 60th minute. And and his substitutions aren't brilliant. He had to take Pratt off because he was injured and bring Perez on, so he can't take any blame for that. He then decides, well, we're 3-0 down. I know what I'll do. I'll just swap one striker for another.
Yeah.
He took Daka off, who wasn't doing very well, and brought Vardy on, who he stretched Newcastle a bit. But in the fairness, in the second half, Newcastle had gone down a gear. And then he waited till the 70th minute and decides at that point, when we're still 3-0 down, with 20 minutes to go, I better make some substitutions.
Yeah.
And then in the last, I think it was 5 minutes to go, he decides to take off Sumare and bring on a defensive midfielder with Ndidia. So I think he decided, let's hold on to the 3-0 defeat. And I'm like, and it's worrying that when he, and he's supposed to be this tactical genius, is he fog when you look at the fact that you got 50% of your goals are conceded after he makes his substitutions?
Yeah, he had a habit of doing that at Liverpool. He had a habit of making some very, very strange substitutions. I remember the Crystal Palace game, and this was obviously the 2013-2014 season. There was a Crystal Palace game. We'd gone 3-0 up. We'd gone 3-0. Now, instead of basically going for like the game and, he decided to shop. He decided to basically bring off... I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was one goal for them, for Palace, where basically Glenn Johnson has got Yannick Bolasie. Basically, he left Glenn Johnson on the halfway line to deal with Yannick Bolasie. Now, that was a big error, because Yannick Bolasie is much quicker than Glenn Johnson was. So every time we were going out for a corner, it would usually be the ball would go out to Bolasie, and then Bolasie would go past Johnson, and that was where their goals came from. And we drew 3-3, and that was the game that obviously went on to obviously lose us the league that season. So he does have a tendency to make some very weird decisions, Brendan.
Yeah, he does. And just to let you know, if anybody likes the films, there's a new film coming out. It's about a child who doesn't believe in Santa. It's a remake. It's going to be called A Rebel Without a Clause.
Yay!
Couple of points here. Mr. B says, can I see anyone signing in January? Yes. Well, apparently he believes that we're going to go for another centre-back, a left-back, and a right winger. But, hey, we'll wait and see. I'm not getting too excited until it's... I'm fed up with so many rumours. I'm not doing any shows about transfers until it's either been said by Fabrizio or it's been said sort of on Sky. Luke says, no point making subs at 3-0 down. The game is dead and buried. What's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not, though. How many times have we seen teams come from 3-0 down? Newcastle have done it themselves. Was it Newcastle where everybody was walking out at 3-0 and they won 4-3 or something? We were 3-0 down to Arsenal under Martin O'Neill, and we or 2-0. I think we ended up being 3-3. It isn't technically over at 45 minutes. At 70 minutes, I grant you, you're not going to get 4 goals. You're not even going to get 3. But at 45 minutes, you look at it and you go, well, if they were shit first half, let's change it. Nate, now point for you here, Doug. Nate, I think Liverpool will still finish top 4.
Yeah, I do think we'll still finish top 4. I think Spurs are in a bit of free fall. I've got to be honest with you. I think there's a lot of uncertainty going over at Spurs. Seems to be a lot of wee murmurs that the board are a bit divided over giving Conte a new contract, which baffles me because he's been their best manager for a long time, probably since Harry Redknapp, if I'm being honest with you. Chelsea are there or thereabouts. I think 2 of the top 4 positions are probably sewn up. I think Arsenal, Manchester United, if they're going to be there. And then it's a case of Spurs / Liverpool / Man United / probably Newcastle, if we're being honest. Like, Newcastle deserve to be up there. They've been very, very good. And actually, like I remember the days when actually Newcastle were actually finishing top 4 and getting Champions League. It would be good to see them back in the Champions League.
Yeah, I mean, for me, and no disrespect, Doug, I can see Arsenal, Man City, and Newcastle. They are three, will be three of the top four positions in whichever order. As long as it's not Man City that finished top, I'd be quite happy. I just want to see somebody else different do it. And in fairness, Arsenal haven't done it for a while. They've kept the form up so far, so they could probably keep it going. I then think it's between Spurs, yourselves, and Man United. Now, I think Chelsea, they're not out of it, but I just don't have the confidence of Chelsea under Graham Potter. He hasn't, he hasn't given me much to believe in since he moved to Chelsea, to be honest with you. And I think he'll be not staying there very long. Brighton will fall away. Now, I mean, Man United, getting rid of Ronaldo might actually be the best thing that they could have ever done.
Yeah.
Because like what Arteta did at Arsenal, he got rid of all the bad eggs, all the troublemakers, and that's all that... I don't think he should have ever gone back, to be honest with you, but, it was what it was. But I think it's the best thing he could have done. Does he have enough to... I mean, I was talking with the Man United fan the other day, Ash, who comes in a lot, and he thinks they could win the title. I mean, there's no way Man United will win the title this season at all. I don't think they've got enough, unfortunately, I think because they're in a rebuilding and you keep pinching the players that they want, I just wonder whether they'll have any. So I think it could be between yourselves and Tottenham. And there's only 5 points between you. You've got the slightly better goal difference. They've conceded a lot more goals. And it's Tottenham's to lose, let's be honest with you. But they can't keep... I mean, they were 2-0 down the other day, weren't they, to Brentford? Yeah. You can't keep doing that. And they've done that so many times this season. So I think it's between you and Tottenham for that fourth, if I'm honest with you. And I just think it's such a weird season. I just think it could go either way.
Yeah, 100%. And as we said, it is a very, very weird season. But yeah, Spurs are a funny team. Like 1 minute they're fantastic. Like they'll put six past yourselves, and then they'll go on a wee run. They lose to Newcastle.
Thanks for reminding us that, mate. Cheers, thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. And then they go on a run of losing really silly games. Like the Newcastle deserved their win against Spurs. They won 4-3 against Leeds. They were very fortunate to win that. They lost to Nottingham Forest in the cup as well. They're a very, very strange side. And the problem with Conte is that he's a very good manager. But as soon as someone big comes in, like a Juventus, he'll be off because he has been wanting to manage in Italy again for a long, long time. And for me, as soon as one of the big Italian clubs comes in, he's off.
Yes. I mean, that's really... surely it is down to the board, isn't it? Because if they want to keep him, at least sort of make him, an offer to stay, if you like. I just don't think that... I think he has to be given time. I mean, how long has he been there? He hasn't been there a full season yet, has he?
When did he come in?
He came in halfway through last season.
Yeah, halfway through when Nuno got sacked. Nuno Espirito Santo, he got sacked, and then Conte came in. Now, I actually said at the time when Conte had been appointed, I wasn't sure if him and Levy was going to work, because one's a very, very shrewd businessman, and Conte likes to use money to buy players. So it's getting interesting at Spurs, and I think they will be one of the ones that do strengthen in January. I honestly do. But It's whether or not they give him a new contract. And at this moment in time, I'm just not sure they're going to give him a new contract.
No. It will be interesting. But I think if they do want him to do something, they've got to give him the time, haven't they?
Definitely, yeah.
And that's it. Now, what I found interesting, I did actually message you earlier asking you about a certain Mr. Henderson.
Yep.
And I thought, what I'm going to do, because the show I did earlier was the preview show, which is purely just stats, nothing else. So it can get, as a guest, it's not always the most interesting thing. But I thought what I'd like to do is compare two players. So I thought what we could do is we could compare your midfield maestro, Jordan Henderson, against our midfield maestro, Yuri Tielemans.
Yeah.
And there is a site that will compare certain. You can choose basically what you want to compare against. Now, I actually compared 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different headings. Who do you think came out on top the most?
I think if you were to base it on this season, I think Tielemans would probably come out on top.
It is this season, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
it is this season.
Yes.
I think it's got to be Tielemans.
And by how many would you say?
I would say about maybe 6, and maybe Henderson's got 3.
Well, on the ones that I chose, which I think I've chosen fair enough for sort of the roles that they play, because again, if I was comparing defenders, I would be comparing different things and strikers and goalies, etc. But this is it. 9 to Yuri Tielemans, 1 to Henderson. This really did surprise me. I mean, yes, okay, Henderson has played 3 less games. You can't really count that as one of the categories. But, yeah. I mean, touches 661 to 1103, ball recoveries, nearly double for Yuri Tielemans. Possession lost. In fairness, Henderson wins on that one. He has lost. He hasn't hit the back of the net yet. He hasn't had. Well, he's had less shots. His accuracy, wow. I mean, shot accuracy is 29%. Wow.
Yeah.
Only 12 chances created and passes attempted 576. And to me, when I was looking at that, I don't think that's just the 3-game difference.
No. Henderson's had a bit of a stop-start season, I would have to say, as well. But I've seen Yuri Tielemans a lot of times this season, and Yuri Tielemans definitely has an eye for goal. I think we have to be wary of that tomorrow, because I think as soon as he gets a lot of space in that midfield, he will go for a shot. So he is very, very capable, Tielemans. I mean, I know there's been a lot of talk about obviously whether you'll keep him or not, but I mean, the Arsenal rumours have gone quiet. I mean,
it's the Newcastle rumours now.
No, it's the Newcastle.
Yes, and also allegedly we are talking to him about a contract. I mean, I just don't know what's going on, to be honest with you. I just wish it. I wish. Well, I think the club probably know. Let's be honest. I think the club would.
Yeah.
They would know before any of us. But I just wish, like I say, to me, Harry Maguire knew he was going. Said, look, you've got me where I am. I was at Hull. I was relegated. You came and got me. We know Man United are interested in me. I want to go eventually because I'm a Man United fan, but I don't want you to lose out, which you will in another year's time. Let me sign a contract, stick a load of clauses in it, but at least that way you'll get some money for me. And that's why we were able to hold out for 80 million. Why Yuri can't do that? Because all he's got to do is sign the contract. Everything's settled then, and all he's got to do is put in, right, if for 30 plus million, I can talk to a club if I want to. If it's a club that's playing in Europe, I can talk to them if I want to. But you see, but this is bad news, I'm afraid. Have you seen the officials for tomorrow's game?
No, I haven't.
Are you ready for this? Mr. Pawson is the man in the middle. But the fourth official is Mr. Madeley, which I suppose he can't really do too much hassle there. I'm not sure because it didn't tell me who the VAR guy is, but I thought you'd be chuffed with those choices. Not.
I mean, Pawson is probably he's the less of the bad bunch, I would have to say, probably. It's. I mean, I'm not one to obviously talk about referees and all this nonsense, but I'm just hoping for a very good game tomorrow. I'm hoping for no VAR controversy, because there's been a lot of it in Scotland. I have to say that there's been a lot of it in Scotland this week, and over the festive period, there's been a lot of really debatable decisions. So I'm just hoping for a very good game, hoping for a very fast-flowing game, and I'm just hoping for a really good game that we don't see any decisions being made by VAR.
Yeah. It's not gone down well in Scotland, has it?
Nope, it has not. Managers are speaking about left, right, and centre. Good one, Neil Doncaster or somebody Maxwell, I think his name is. Yeah, good decision to bring it back to bring down to Scotland.
Now, let's finish with this, because what I would like you to do is to pick your starting lineup for Liverpool. I'm not doing a joint 11 because I don't like doing those, but let's do your starting 11, and I'll do Leicester afterwards.
Okay.
Are you up for this yet?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Scotland has VAR now, asks Hannah. I know. It's hard to believe. Apparently, although I haven't had this confirmed, they've got electricity as well now. But I don't. I couldn't confirm that. All we do know is that they have Nicola Sturgeon, and to be honest with you, they deserve Nicola Sturgeon and VAR. What can I say? But right, let's have a look at this. And you have to bear with me because my spelling is absolutely shite. What formation do you think he's going to play?
I would imagine you'll stick to 4-3-3, if I'm being honest.
Right. In that sort of formation that is there?
Yes, I would agree. Yeah.
Okay, so in goal, I presume we're going for Alisson, are we?
Yeah, definitely. It will be Alisson. To be fair to Kelleher, he has been very, very good, but for me, Alisson is definitely number one.
Okay, let me just see if I can find him.
And guys watching in the chat, get your starting 11s in the comments as well.
There he is. Okay, so and the same for obviously for Leicester as well. Then we've got for your left back. Who do you think will be at left back?
Left back will be Andy Robertson. He broke the assist record, and has more assists than any fullback in Premier League history.
Oh, there we go then. Well deserved of his place, I would say. Yeah. And his opposite number?
I mean, there is a sort of a thing to maybe go for Gomez at right back, but I think it will be Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Okay, that's... There we go. You can't see me feverishly typing away because I blocked it off. Thankfully, trying to make sure I get the spellings right. Okay, and then your centre backs, sir.
It'll be Van Dijk and Matip. I think Konate is definitely going to be on the bench. I don't think he'll start because obviously he played in the World Cup final for France. So it'll definitely be Van Dijk and Matip.
And don't forgive me if I put them the wrong way round. But,
nope, that's right. That's right.
That's okay. Okay. So your centre midfield, which is, I suppose, your defensive midfielder.
Yeah, Jade actually had a good question, actually. I Hi, Dustin Chris. Would you start Basetic on Friday or save him
Yes,
for Brentford?
she did. Yeah.
Also, rest in peace, Pelly. Look, Basetic did well to come on and score. He did really, really well to score. But I think keep the same midfield that we had against. Very good, very good. I think it'll be the same midfield. I'm going to go Fabinho for the defensive midfielder.
Second, then let me. Now that is one that I'm not very. Oh yeah, Fabinho, F-A-B. There we go. Yeah. The problem is, of course, I don't recognise them when the picture comes up. So
Yeah.
And then on the left of him,
that will be Thiago Alcantara. He'll definitely be at the left of Fabinho.
Oh my God, you're just picking him because you know I can't probably spell him, don't you? Let's have a look. I'm going to just put Thiago in. Yeah, and then on the right-hand side,
I think it'll be Jordan Henderson.
There we go. Okay, so those are your defenders and your midfielders. So to the left of your main striker.
This is where I think it gets interesting because if Firmino is fit, I think he starts. If he isn't, then I think left winger is going to be either Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain or potentially Fabio Carvalho. I am going to go for. I think Carvalho will start. I'm going to go Fabio Carvalho.
There we go. Honestly, you're so impressed with my spelling, aren't you? But I'd say I do have the Premier League website open. I'm no fool. I've been caught out. I have to have it open just so I can spell Iniacho. But and on the right of your main striker,
it's got to be Mo Salah. Mo Salah for me. People are.
No, I was going to say, apparently he's on a record tomorrow. That he's after, I forget who it was, but he was after somebody's record of equaling the number of left-footed goals scored against Leicester City.
Oh, really? Oh, I did not know that. There we go.
No, I mean, I've got to be honest with you. It's probably one of the lesser known.
Yeah.
So the most goals with the left foot. Really?
Wow. I mean, the thing is for people saying about Mo Salah, he is like people are saying he's having a very, very poor season. He still has 22 goals in all comps this season.
Yeah.
So if that's a bad season, then he must be doing something right.
Indeed. Who are we going to start up front then? Who's going to be your main striker?
I mean, I think it'll be Darwin Núñez that will start up front. He isn't having the best of luck in front of goal at the moment. He seems to be snatching at chances. But if you do get him on a good day, he does score a few goals. So I am going to go for Darwin Núñez up front.
So there is your team. And fairness, there's a team that's worrying me. So you got Alisson, you've gone 4-3-3, Alisson in goal, Robertson and Alexander-Arnold on the wings, Van Dijk and Matip in the central defenders, Thiago, Fabinho and Henderson are your midfielders, and Carvalho, Núñez and Salah are up front for you. Looking very strong indeed. Now, I'll do mine now, shall I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's have a look and just see if I've got to remove them individually. Brilliant. Okay, here we go.
Shane is saying Alisson, Trent, VVD, Konate, Robertson, Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago, Salah, Núñez, Carvalho. I'd be very surprised, Shane, if Konate does start. I would be very, very surprised if he does start. considering he has just been. I think he's just back from the World Cup as well. I'd be very surprised if he starts. I think you may potentially see Canati start at Brentford than he does tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look at the Leicester one. Now, Facebook user, not sure who that is because it doesn't come up with the name, but they've gone Ward, Amati, Cags, Faze, Castagna, Tielemans, Madders, if playable, Ndidi, Barnes, KDH, and Vardy. Madders is not playable. He won't be anywhere near the team, I do not believe. Basically, our team, when you say like a team picks itself, and it doesn't pick itself because they've been playing that well, but it's just because we haven't got an awful lot of choice. So at left back, it's got to be Luke Thomas again. What
have you made of him? There's been a lot of people on social media that haven't been really very, very praising of Luke Thomas.
You know what? Leicester players, Leicester fans always like to have a player that we can pick on.
Yeah.
And it was Chilwell. Apparently Chilwell wasn't good enough as a left back for us. And yet we got 50 million for him. And he very nearly took the FA Cup from us. And he's also, when he's fit, he was at that point England's main left back. Luke, I mean, it was funny because I did a review of the Newcastle game, and when I did it with the fans, they didn't like Thomas at all. When they did it with Julian Watts, who used to play for Leicester City, funnily enough, as a defender, as a right back, he was the one that crossed the ball for Claridge to shin it in against Palace in the playoff final. He says that's the only thing he can claim on to from his footballing career, and he's hanging on to it with both hands. And he said Luke Thomas had a very good game. So it's funny how the two sides of it, the ex-process, actually what I saw in him, I thought he played really well. And the fans are going, he was rubbish sort of thing. And in Facebook, you stick your name on the end, Facebook user, so I know who you are because it doesn't show. I would never have Thomas in that left-back position against a strong Liverpool team. Too many mistakes for my liking. One for the future, but not right now. Okay, so tell me who you would have in that position, because there's nobody else. So it will probably have to be 3 at the back going into a 5, which if we go like that against Liverpool are going to hang us out to dry. 3 at the back, we cannot play 3 at the back. If we're going 3 at the back, then it almost brings Vestergaard into the equation. And I just don't think I can't do 3 at the back. I'm sorry, because we're absolutely shite when we do that. So yes, he is one for the future, but Ryan Bertrand's not Bertrand. That's his French cousin, Mr. Bertrand. Ryan Bertrand isn't available. James Justin is injured, as is Pierre, which would allow Castagna to go over to the other side. So it's a case of, as I said before I started doing this, needs must. And you are joking me here. And fair enough, I'm going to say it's your opinion and you're entitled to it and I respect it. But a Marty at left back? I do not believe.
Has he ever played at left back?
No, I'm going to have to give you, I don't know who you are, Facebook user, because it doesn't bring your name up. But you are going to have one of these, I'm afraid.
I don't believe it.
I mean, when we were struggling at the start of the season, Amati was playing left centre-back.
Yeah.
We conceded, was it 5 against Arsenal, 6 against Spurs, 5 against Brighton, and you want to put him as a left-back? I don't know what you're drinking, mate, but I'll have a couple of pints of it, please. But respect your opinion, but I just don't know where you're coming from with that one. I really, really don't.
Yeah.
I really don't. And like I say, it's about opinions. That's football for you, and respect yours, mate. So at right back, it's got to be Castagna. I can say so many of these are I can spell Castagna.
Yeah. Gary's just put his team in the chat. He's gone Ali, Trent, Phillips, Van Dijk, Robertson, Thiago, Fabinho, Ox, Elliott, Nunes, Salah. Interesting. Interesting.
I'm going to be a little bit. Am I going to go here with the team that I think he'll play, or the team that I want him to play? I'm going to go with.
Cool.
I'm going to go with FaZe there.
Mm-hmm.
But on this one, sod it. He's good, if he's good enough for Atletico Madrid, then he can play for
Cags,
Leicester.
are you?
I'm going to put Cags. It's the combination I've wanted to see all season. It really is. And I mean, it'll certainly be a hair-raising back too, I'll tell you, with them two.
Hey.
They can't go up for the same ball, otherwise they'd have to spend 10 minutes untangling their hair. And the Liverpool players will be shouting, watch out, one of them's on you. I don't know which one it is. Or Brighton possibly is, but again, he's never played on the left, Nate. You could put Castagna over and put Albrighton in, but I don't like Albrighton as a defender. I'm sorry.
No.
But you want to put Luke Thomas at left back when he got destroyed against Newcastle. Within the first half hour, I counted 7 times he got outpaced and outclassed time. But like I say, Facebook user, you still not put your name, so I don't know who I'm talking to. But the ex-pro said he had a good game. And they kind of know a bit more than us, in fairness. And that ex-pro happened to be a defender. I just think, do you take a left back? Let's be honest with you. Last season, he's played in Europe. He scored goal. He scored against Man United when he shouted to Vardy to leave it. So, I just think what you lose by, what you gain by taking Luke Thomas out, you lose by putting Amati in that position. He's never, ever played in that position. And yet you want to risk him against Liverpool to throw your argument back at you. Luke says Faye shouldn't play for me, especially after the last game against Newcastle. But again, he'd had some brilliant games up until then. He was part of the reason we turned things around.
Yeah, it's one bad game. Look, Vote FaZe has been very, very good. With the games I've obviously watched, he seems to, he's got my man of the match a couple of times whenever I've been doing, your Leicester watch-alongs. He has had one bad game, so it doesn't mean for him to just be completely dropped completely. So no, I think. I think it'd be right to keep Wout Faze in there. Evening, Jeff, Fox to Fox report. I hope you are well. Thank you for tuning in, mate.
You said Fox to Fox. Is that a Leicester fan?
It is a Leicester fan, all the way from America.
Well, welcome, Fox. How the devil are you? Don't forget, if you're new to either of our channels, give it a subscribe. The Dugout Football channel is Doug's. Go over there. Great channel. So you do sometimes need subtitles, but apart from that, it's a great channel. Get over there and support it. And if you are a Leicester fan, you want to follow me, getting a subscription would be great off you, mate. Andreas, we can't lose Maddison to Newcastle. To be honest with you, I think him getting injured at this time might not be a bad thing. Cags play well against Man City, the only game he's played in. I think he did. I don't understand why he's not playing. Like I said, the rumours are.
No, to be honest with you, Chris, I have no idea why Kagler Siontju is not playing. And I remember that Manchester City game. I did it with you, and that was a game where it was only decided by a wonderful free kick by Kevin De Bruyne. But apart from that, think Leicester played really, really well that day, and Kegler Siyunshu for me was probably man of the match, if we're being honest.
Yeah, no, he did well. The fact that we only let them get that one goal from an amazing free kick, he did his job. Now I'd have Soumaré. I know a lot of people are going to be calling for Ndidi back, but I just prefer Soumaré. I really do. Yeah, I mean, again, you're saying here, wouldn't you want to? I mean, Ndidi, again, it's personal choice. Facebook user. There's a big argument, and I would not be surprised if we don't see Ndidi back. I really don't. But I just think at the moment, Ndidi to start a game when he's not really had that much, well, he hasn't had any pitch time at all. Let's be honest with you, this season, really, apart from the odd subs bench for like 10 minutes. Do we want to start him against a Liverpool side?
Yeah.
So for me, Soumaré gets it. So the thing is, indeed, what Ndidi does is Ndidi is an amazing tackler, and and where Soumaré can do that, but he's got more movement than Ndidi has. He can do more with the ball. Fox to Fox agrees with me there. So I say it's all about opinions. I'm all in for Soumaré. Ndidi's time has passed. I don't know if I would go that far, but yes, I think he's the one that did it. Yeah, everybody has a bad game. It was a very costly mistake, which ultimately gave Newcastle the points. And thing is, though, mate, three goals were conceded. It's even if he'd been on form, and we lost to Spurs 6-2, and our man of the match that was given not only by us but by a lot of the big agencies. The Leicester man of the match was actually Wout Faes. I mean,
Faes, yeah,
16. But anyway, on the left, it's going to have to be Dewsbury Hall. Unfortunately, a lot of this is dictated by who is available. On the other side, we've got to make the most of him while we've got him. He was played in a lot deeper role against Newcastle, but I think we need to push him forward. That's where he's most threat. When he's sat back, he isn't a threat. I would love to see two up front. I really would. On the left, he's going to have Barnes. Now then, I'm going to be controversial here.
Ooh.
Because on the right wing, a lot of people would normally say Maddison, and if he was fit, definitely 100% he would be in there. That leaves Perez. He's had a couple of good games this season. In fact, even Julian Watts, the ex-player, was saying he played well, in fairness, in spells against Newcastle, which means I'm never having Julian back on the channel. He knows that now. But I don't know. We joke about Perez and we say, like, if Newcastle want Maddison, the deal is that they've got to take Perez as well. That's just the deal. You got to have him back. But we know there's a good player in there, but we just need to see him more than just in spurts. So I am actually going to go. And let me just type this one out. Never find. I don't know why it's. Now then, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
So, I'm going to put Kelechi out there.
I knew you were going to put him there. Do you know that? I knew you were going to put him there.
It took so long to type him out. That's why.
I mean,
I want to see two up front. Kelechi cannot play on his own up front. No way can he.
No,
he doesn't play that ball. However, in a two, like I've said before, he has played so brilliantly before, but if he plays just off that what he can do without the ball is not appreciated with Kelechi Iheanacho. And what he does with the ball, he creates a lot of space. For a big guy, he has a really good touch with the ball. And when he comes on as that extra striker behind the first, the top striker, it does make a difference. It's almost like a link up. Now, obviously, like I say, Maddison, if he was fit, would get there. Facebook user off the bench, Perez is a decent player, but too inconsistent for starting. Now Fox to Fox has said, I think Perez will play the right wing better than Kelechi. Kelechi isn't one to come back to defend. He doesn't, but for me, what Kelechi does is he defends from the front. I have a feeling, Nate, like you say, that Perez will start. Now, the problem is, who do I go up front with?
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting.
Do I go Vardy or do I go Daka? It's going to be one of the two, and whoever it is will play. They will play 70 minutes and probably get changed. Daka again. To me, we got Daka a year too late. If that makes sense. Yeah. We should have had him the season before, when Vardy was still reasonably banging them in and getting the goals.
Yeah.
A bit like Soyuncu ready to take over from Maguire. And I think we got him a bit late. He hasn't had that time to settle in. And I know, he's been here quite a while now, but it still takes a while sometimes for some players to settle in. Fofana did it straight away, but to me, it doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
So who do I think is going to start?
Got a feeling you'll go for Vardy.
Yes. Do you want the job as Leicester manager? I just think that
it's that experience, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. Again, Facebook user has said, Daka never, Vardy 100%. Daka for me is a fantastic European Cup player. He hasn't settled in that long enough and needs to quicken up. I think he's very fast. He just needs to get that last touch right, And again, the argument is like with Iheanacho. We saw the best of him when he was starting all the time as that regular alongside Vardy, because he's getting regular game time. But, a lot of that is, look at who we haven't put in. Iverson, he's not that experienced yet. Vestergaard, God, no. Mendy, he's a possibility. Or Brighton, Daka. And then after that, you're just talking about, youngsters. So it's almost like his hand is being played. But there we go. But that's my team. You had your team. Oops, a daisy. Everybody disappeared then. Always do that. There we go. So that is our teams. I think you are going to win. Score predictions, everybody, get them in the chat. This is what everybody went for Newcastle and we all got our fingers burnt. So Brad has gone 3-1 to Leicester. I've gone for a goal fest. I've gone 3-2 to Leicester. Simply because I think we'll concede a couple of goals, but I can't, with my heart says got to go for Leicester every time. Craig has gone 1-1. Then the ex-players, Jerry Taggart has gone 3-2 to yourselves. What a turncoat, eh? Bloody hell. Ian Marshall's gone 3-1. I think that's the Evertonian in him, possibly, though. Ian Wilson has gone 2-0 to yourselves. He's Scottish, and you know what those Scots are like. Steve Linux has gone 1-1, and Steve Walsh has gone 2-1 to you. Now, none of us got any points at all on the board on Wednesday. Somebody's going to get some points here because we've got, me and Brad are sticking by the team. Come on, Brad. It's a bit frightening when you think he predicted Belgium to win the World Cup, but there we go. Your prediction, Doug?
I think it'll be a very close one, but I think what will happen is I think you will probably you'll probably start well and then sort of tire towards sort of the end. I'm going to go. I think we'll win 3-1. I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool.
You're going to go 3-1. Well, you're being kinder than Gary Richard is, who's gone 5-0 to Liverpool.
It's not going to be 5-0. No way.
Oh, you're a decent man, Doug. You're a decent man. No. Having said that, who knows? After if the old Newcastle Leicester turn up, it could be.
That's true.
You could get the 9-0 and equal the record. Doug, thank you so very much. We are going to be back, and this is what is coming up on our next show, which we again are doing together.
Coming up next on Leicester Till I Die TV.
And also on, of course, the Dugout Football channel, because it will be another joint presentation, although we will be sitting on different sides of the fence. But you might not see me because depending how it goes, I could be below the fence line. But tomorrow night at 7:30 for an 8 o'clock kickoff. I'm not hopeful, but Doug, I guess you are. If people want to tune in via yourself, how do they do that?
Yeah, my YouTube is the Dugout Football channel on YouTube. It's been a pleasure doing this tonight, and looking forward to joining you tomorrow for the live watch along. Guys, if you already haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and also to Chris's channel as well. It does a very, very good job. He is closing in on 1.7k. I have noticed the numbers are going up and up and up, Mr. Christopher. So you're doing really, really well. So please do get up to 1.7k. You can also find me on Twitter, nrod_992, and you can also find me on Instagram at Douglas.Hart.
Thank you very much. Make sure, again, if you're Leicester fans, nip over and sub to Doug. It's a great channel. Doesn't just do Liverpool content, does prediction shows and watch-alongs and everything else. It was the Carabao Cup draw. That just went absolutely bananas. 9.2 it finished up on. God knows where those people came from to watch the Carabao Cup draw, which I've never had to sort of, when they say, like, if there's a gap, you've got to fill. Well, I was filling for like 45 minutes until they bloody started the thing. So thank God there was a few in. Doug, I will see you tomorrow, sir, at 7:30. Thank you very much for popping on. As always, it's been a pleasure, sir.
No problem. See you tomorrow, mate. Cheers. Take care.
Bye-bye. Thanks to Doug there. Make sure you get over to Dugout Football channel and give him a sub if you have not done so already. And if you are new to my channel, Leicester Till I Die TV, it's the same on whichever social media you go on. You will find me at that. Give me a sub as well. And also, again, doesn't matter which one whether you're watching on myself or watching on Doug, if you have subscribed, please press that like button. It really does help. It gets us onto platforms and people's homepages so they see us that don't sub, and hopefully it spreads it around. Diego, thank you very much, sir. Very kind words. Well done all. Nate, we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Adios, amigos. Another great show. We are 2 days off this.
Hi, this is Chris from Leicester Till I Die. Thank you for watching and listening. Happy New Year.
Have a good one if we don't see you tomorrow. Otherwise, I will see you at 7:30 on this channel and on the Dugout Football channel. Get subscribing. Thanks very much for joining in the chat tonight. I will see you tomorrow, 7:30. Take care, stay safe. Good night.
Thank you for watching. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
That's all, folks.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
Leicester Till I Die TV. They think it's all over. It is now.